Hey y'all, so today I'm making oxtail pizza for dinner, so let's get cooking. Okay guys, so the first thing you want to do is cook your oxtail. I will link a recipe down below for you, okay? And don't let this pizza intimidate you from making it, okay? It's really easy. The hardest part is cooking the oxtail because it takes the longest and shredding it. Then once you make the dough, you just add all your toppings that you want to add on your pizza and you bake it. And if you want to make this even easier, you guys just buy a dough from the supermarket or a pizza shop. Alright y'all, so in this large bowl I'm adding 2 packets of active dry yeast into lukewarm water. Make sure it's lukewarm. Next I added 2 teaspoons of sugar and I'm gonna give that a stir. Then you're gonna let it sit and rest for about 5 minutes so it can proof. Also, if you want to skip the step and just buy a pizza dough from the grocery store and use that, you can, okay? Make things much easier. Okay, so after the 5 minutes, I added in half a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 cup of olive oil, and 4 cups of all-purpose flour. Next, you're going to start mixing to form your dough. If after you mix everything together and you start kneading, it's too soft, you could always add in some more flour to get the right consistency and the perfect soft dough. Here my dough looks a little brown because I ended up adding in some whole wheat flour, okay? So after about 5 minutes of kneading, once you have a nice soft dough, you're going to cover it, place it somewhere warm so that the dough can do its thing and rise and double in size. Okay y'all, so I'm gonna be making a bechamel, kind of like an Alfredo sauce for the oxtail pizza. If you want to go the original way and make a traditional pizza like marinara sauce, you can, all right? But here, that's what I'm doing. I added some butter into my frying pan, then minced garlic and onion. Let that saute for about 3 minutes, and then after that I added in some flour. After you add in the flour, let it cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then you're gonna use a whisk and start adding in some whole milk. You're gonna use the whisk to combine the roux and the milk together, and then I seasoned it a little bit with a little bit of salt and a little bit of black pepper. Once the milk starts to heat up, it's gonna start thickening, and once it starts thickening, I'm gonna add in some Parmesan cheese. So I added almost the whole bag of cheese. So I would say I added about 1 cup of Parmesan cheese in here. And you're going to stir it really well to combine. Once the sauce starts to simmer just a little and make small bubbles, you're going to turn it off and remove it from the stove. Okay, so let's go back to the dough. So I let my dough rest for 1 whole hour, okay? And then I split it in half because I'm actually making 2 pizzas. You can leave the dough whole and just make 1 really large pizza, okay? It's totally up to you. So here I'm using my cast iron skillet for 1 pizza, which will be in another video. Check tomorrow. And then I'm gonna do my oxtail pizza. But in the bottom of the pan you're making the pizza, I added olive oil, and then you want to sprinkle a little bit of cornmeal in there, okay? Next, I'm just using my hands to spread out the dough and flatten it. If you want, you can roll it out to make it more thin and flat. If you want more of a thin crust type pizza, I will recommend you roll out the dough using a rolling pin, okay, to make it nice and thin. And then you'll have that delicious New York style pizza. So once I formed the dough into my pan, I added some of the bechamel Alfredo sauce we made. Add a good ladle of that and spread it out on top of the dough. Then I added some mozzarella cheese on top of that, and then my oxtail. So for the oxtail, I cooked it regular. I'll link a recipe down below for you guys on how to cook it. And then you're just going to shred it off the bone. And then you just want to cut the meat up into smaller pieces, okay? And you're just going to top it off on top of the pizza. I did drizzle a little bit of the oxtail sauce because that's like the best part. I preheated my oven to 425 degrees and baked the pizza for about 25 to 30 minutes until it was cooked and looking like this. When it comes out of the oven, I drizzle some more of the oxtail, the warm oxtail sauce on there. I also drizzled some jerk sauce that I made. If you want the recipe for that, I'll link it down below. And yeah, I drizzled some jerk sauce on top of the pizza, and it was absolutely delicious. It was so good. The only thing I would say is that my crust came out a little too thick, but that's only because after I formed the dough in the pan, I put it aside and I let it rest for about 30 minutes while I wait for the oxtail to finish cooking. Okay, so now I know next time don't let the dough rest because it will puff up and you'll have a nice thick crust pizza. All right, y'all, let's taste it.
Got my slice right here. Let us try it. I hope it's good. It's hot. Ooh, hot, hot, hot. It's good. Delicioso.